Hi, I'm Jana Beeman with Create Your Dream Practice, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about networking. Now, networking used to be the thing that completely stopped me in my tracks because, believe it or not, my students always laugh when I say this, but I am shy, introverted, socially anxious, and I have had agoraphobia for most of my life. To the point where, yes, I would barely leave my house, and I wouldn't go any place where I hadn't been before unless I'd been there with somebody else. I could go places with other people, I could not go alone. And this is something I've struggled with since I was, well, in my early 20s, actually a little earlier than that. So anyway, it has been something that I've dealt with, and I know a lot of introverts and shy people, and especially anyone who has anxiety, have a lot of issues with networking. But if you're a business owner, networking is one of the most powerful ways to build your business. So I'm going to share with you one way that you can get yourself out there. If you've been thinking about networking, if you're starting to see the value of it, then this is a way to help yourself get out the door. And so I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you so that you understand what I've experienced, and hopefully you can use my story to help propel you forward, because very few people were as bad about it as I was. So when I first started thinking, I had just gone back to school, I had just started a new business, and was just able to get out of the house after a long confinement with some injuries. So I had been a little bit isolated. I was living in a house 2 states away from pretty much anybody I knew. I had no friends in the area. I had no one to really rely on as far as business goes, and so I was kind of having to do it myself. So I found some networking groups. I said, okay, I'm going to go to this one, put it on my calendar. I got dressed, I did my makeup, did my hair, you know, the whole girly thing, right? I get ready to go, and then all of a sudden there's something I absolutely just have to do right then. I don't even remember what it was. And all of a sudden I'm going to be late. Now, when I planned my drive, because I don't know the area, I built in an extra 15 minutes, so if I got lost, I would still be on time. So I'm still within that 15-minute window, but I've decided now I'm going to be late. Now, I also picked my first event was a mixer, and it doesn't really matter what time you show up in a mixer, but I decided I was going to be late, and I can't stand to be late, so I didn't go. I sat down on the couch, and when I realized what I'd done to myself, I sat there and cried for like 2 hours. I was completely defeated. And this happened, I think 3 times total. Then I picked another one, and it was in a city that I hadn't been to, and it was a little further away, but it sounded like a good one, so I was going to go. I got dressed, I got ready, I actually made it out the door. I had printed out directions, I had my GPS set, I got there on time. In fact, I was 15 minutes early, and I sat in the car, and I couldn't get out of the car. So I sat there and cried, and then I cried all the way home. Okay, really pathetic story, right? Okay, next time I decide, okay, I really want to go to this event, and I know that I'm probably going to try to get in my own way again because I've seen that now 4 times. So what can I do differently? So I emailed the woman who was leading the event, and I said, hey, look, I'm brand new in town. I'm really having some struggles with moving past my shyness and anxiety to actually get to a networking event. I've tried a few times, I haven't made it. Could you give me a job, even if it's not something you actually need done? Just tell me I have a job, tell me what time to show up, and I know that my commitment will override my shyness. She was willing to do that. She actually did give me a job. She had me stand at the door and hand out flyers to everybody who walked in, so I got to meet every person at the event, and all of a sudden they weren't strangers. It made a huge difference. So if you have trouble getting out and networking, call or email the person who is running it or somebody who is associated with it and tell them what's going on with you. Just be honest. Because when people realize that you're trying to get there and you need a little help, as someone who, I run 2 different networking events and a lot of other live events now, as someone who's been where you are, I know that these networking group leaders are absolutely going to help you do what you need to do to get there. And one of the best things I found is give me a job. You know, let me check people in, let me tell them, hey, you know, we're going to be mixing for 15 minutes, be comfortable, and then find a seat. Whatever it is that you need, or even if you don't need something, you know, just share that and I will make that my job. And then you be absolutely sure that if they trust you with a job like that, you absolutely do it, okay? So that is one simple step to making it to a networking event, and I'll give you a little bonus tip here. Now, I've been networking for several years now, and I go to a lot of events, and one of the things that I look at is that when you are shy, don't start with a group event. Don't start with a mixer. Don't start with a cocktail hour. They're usually very noisy. Usually people are already in groups by the time you get in the door, unless you're the first one there. And a lot of times they're very cliquey. I don't know about you, but for me that's very off-putting. But if you go to a chamber lunch or a chamber dinner, if you go to any kind of thing that talks about having a meal, that's going to be a sit-down event, most likely. There are tons of great sit-down events. BNI, I take the lead. In any of the lead generation events are always, nearly always going to be sit-down events. If you can't tell, then send an email or call them and ask. A sit-down event, you can map out the table. You can, in fact, on the next video I'll show you how to do this. You can write down everybody's names, and then you'll know who you want to connect with because everybody gets a chance to do a self-intro. So that's a bonus tip. I will see you back here for my next networking tip. And if you'd like to get them sooner, just go to createyourdreampractice.com, the link's below, and sign up for my free gifts. And one of the things you get with that is a really cool little email series on quick networking tips to help you get really started to make the most of your networking. If you're going to invest the time, make sure you're getting what you need out of it, okay? So that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next video.